Violence is a complicated thing, and that complication affects all the work that we're going to do with assessment and management.
Violence risk is one of those issues that can affect people in a variety of settings. When violence risk is present, it actually prevents people from doing their jobs. And it's just actually not a good way for people to live.
It's not just what people do, it's what they attempt to do.
In all these settings, we need to have violence risk assessment and management procedures in place to deal with these rare and unusual problems when they do arise.
In most countries, we're required to screen for and respond to obvious signs of violence risk. What do we do after we identify these risk factors? How do we then determine what management strategies to put in place? So although it's a very heavy burden to bear, it's something we're all required to do.
Violence risk assessment is the process of evaluating people to try to understand the violence risks that they pose, the kinds of things that they might do that would be hurtful or harmful towards other people.
But the most important goal of a violence risk assessment is to determine how to manage that risk and how to prevent violence.
The best a risk assessment can ever be is a good, educated guess about what will happen in the future.
We're trying to think about the future in order to prevent it from happening by doing something about it now.
And if we can acknowledge that to ourselves and to the people that we deal with, then it's going to keep us humble, and we're going to come up not only with plans but with contingency plans. What we're trying to avoid is ignorant, ill-informed, stupid guesses.
I think the speakers have been excellent.
They're very fluent, very knowledgeable.
Very interactive.
They make things light, fun.
And they've been very, very good.
What we want to see is that they take what they learn from this workshop and then they implement it into their own settings.
Police officers, probation officers, human resources managers, security professionals.
So they learn how to screen for violence risk, identify warning signs, and then determine when to assess for violence risk. You really want to strive for desired outcomes and then avoid undesired outcomes. So you want to plan for the worst but expect the best.
I've learned that I really need to look at how I do practice in my own work.
Applying the structured professional judgment approach in a manner that's understandable by people who are actually managing risk.
What we hear from people is that they feel like they've learned so much with respect to assessing and managing risk for violence, and they think they can go back to their workplaces and do an even better job than they already are.
I'd recommend it to everyone at the hospital I work at, and I think it's been a great benefit actually.
If we change the circumstances, we change the risk.
Plans are nothing. Planning is everything.